Monday night was the Nikita Kucherov show. Chris Johnston, if the Montreal Canadiens want to avoid Game 2 also being the Nikita Kucherov show, what do they have to do, specifically considering they do not have last change?
Well, I think a lot of it's going to fall on Nick Suzuki and his line with Tyler Toffoli and Cole Caulfield. That's a tough spot for the Canadiens in some ways because, that's a talented offensive line for Montreal, but it includes two players in Caulfield and Suzuki who are just 21 and 20 years old, still finding their way in some ways in this league, still growing, and that's been a big part of why Montreal got here. But now you get to this moment, and John Cooper has targeted that matchup with a line that might be the best in the league right now anywhere. And so I think that for those guys, it's going to be just maybe being a bit more comfortable on this stage, playing their game and trying to play some offense. I think that's really where the success can come for Montreal, rather, is being down in the offensive zone, not giving Point and Kucherov and Plot the chances to beat you the way they did in Game 1.
Now, the Habs offense, a lot of it comes from their defense. We keep hearing that time and time again, but how difficult is it for them to establish their offense when they're getting hemmed in by the Lightning top players?
Yeah, I think it was a couple levels in Game 1. They weren't getting to the net nearly enough, and that was, causing some issues. They weren't causing turnovers in striking and transition, which is something Montreal tends to do really well. And, give the Lightning credit, they were back-checking, I thought, very, very well in the game. And so there were a few instances where Montreal was on a dangerous rush, and one of the forwards came back, Braden Point did this on the first goal of the night to break up an offensive play, and it's going the other way in the Lightning's favor. And so, I think that there's maybe a lack of crispness all around from Montreal. You're going to see more urgency in this game. I mean, the fact that they went through this in the Vegas series and lost in a one-sided game in Game 1 and then really came back with a strong Game 2 and got back in that series, I think you're going to see a push from them. And now they've seen live, not just on tape, what this Lightning team can do.
It's a famous photo that will now live on for years and years. Brendan Gallagher skating through the neutral zone with the blood dripping down, heading off the ice. That's his game, and that's the Montreal Canadiens game. They're in your face, they're aggressive, they try to go to the net. Is that a challenge to do against the Tampa Bay Lightning, considering just how big and mean their D are?
Yeah, and we should mention, fortunately, Brendan Gallagher is okay. Luke Richardson said on Tuesday he had a chat with him at breakfast, and he was feeling all right because that was a scary type of fall without his helmet on, leading to that big cut. But I do think it is emblematic. It sort of tells the entire story in 1,000 words there about what it's like to go up against a Victor Hedman. Even Mikhail Sergachev have been very, very physical in these playoffs. Jan Ruda. I mean, there's just a lot of big men back on that Lightning blue line, and they're really good at keeping players from getting on the inside, getting too close to Andrei Vasilevsky. And, Montreal had trouble establishing any presence there in Game 1. So I think you'll see Game 2, and especially in the early going, watch for Josh Andersons of the world, Corey Perry, Gallagher himself to really try to cause some havoc in the crease and make it a little less comfortable for the Lightning goaltender because he's just too good to have the clear view of shots he did in Game 1.
Well, Chris, it won't be easy for the Montreal Canadiens to get back into this series, but if there's one team that knows a little something about dealing with adversity,